All rise. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. The Sumner County Commission is now in session pursuant to adjournment. May God bless this country and may God bless this county. You may be seated.
Yeah. Y'all can still stand if y'all want to here. We're actually going to have an invocation. Mr. Sullivan is going to handle that for us this evening.
If you would, bow your head with me. Father, we're thankful for the opportunity to be here tonight to conduct the business of Sumner County. Lord, we thank you for every person represented here. Lord, I thank you for my brothers and sisters that I have served with these past 4 years. I pray that those that are not coming back, that did not run again or did not win an election, Lord, that you would just fill our time with things that glorify you, whether that's family or another area to serve in, Lord. I pray, Father, for those that are staying and serving another term and those in the gallery, Lord, that will step up and serve this time, Lord. I pray that you would give them wisdom to all of our elected officials, that you would give them discernment, and that you would be with them and give them peace as they serve. I pray, Father, that as we go from here tonight, that you go with each family that's represented, that you be with us, that you hold us in the palm of your hand, Lord. We thank you for your Son and our Savior, Jesus Christ. In all things we pray, amen.
Amen. Pledge to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now you can be seated. Madam Clerk, would you put the roll call on the board for us?
Each commissioner records your presence.
All right, we have 22 present tonight. Mr. Pomeroy and Ms. Bergdorf weren't able to be here tonight, but with 22, they'll still require 13 votes majority and 16 votes for anything that needs 2/3. All right, is there an approval of the regular agenda? It's a motion and a second. Mr. Wynn.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to add, as a resolution we had on the agenda last month, we passed. This needs a second reading and a second vote on a consecutive meeting. It's for the resolution of the Board of County Commissioners of Sumner County, Tennessee, adopting a waiver of the county motor vehicle privilege tax for qualifying volunteer firefighters pursuant to Tennessee Code annotated 554-140. It should be on everybody's desk.
Yeah, so it's been passed. It needs to have a second pass. So without objection, we'll add that under, I'll just put it under my report, item A4. Okay, thank you, Mr. Wynn. Mr. Mansfield.
Yes, I would like to add a resolution for term limits to be on the agenda.
All right, it's a motion and a second for term limits to be on the agenda. Let's put that one on the board, please. 13 votes needed to add it to the agenda.
Each commissioner records your vote.
Okay. 15 votes, it gets added to the agenda. We'll put that under legislative, item F, number 2. All right, Ms. Holmes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to add under Committee on Committees, Don Scruggs for the Library Board. He's reached out again this month. Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second to consider or to add an item to the agenda to recommend Don Scruggs to the Library Board. And a proper second. Let's put that one on the board. 13 votes to add it.
Commissioner, record your vote.
Okay. It is under Committee on Committees, item E1. Okay. All right, so the additions, the volunteer fire department resolution for second reading under the report of the chair, item A4. We've added Committee on Committees to consider Don Scruggs, Library Board. We've added legislative to consider term limits. No one else in the queue? All in favor of approving the agenda as amended, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Show that is, so we got an agenda. All right. Is there a motion for the consent agenda? Motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Show that's unanimous. Approval of the minutes. Motion for the minutes, July 27th. Is there a second? Second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. We've got certificates of recognition. We've got the honor tonight to congratulate and thank you, recognize 13 outgoing commissioners. So if all 13 would come up, Steve, can I have one of them? I'll read one of them. And you can, yeah. If y'all want to come up here, we'll read the resolution. And what I'll do is I'll read this, and then I'll entertain a motion to group and approve after I finish this. So. Now you know what it feels like for the athletic teams that come up here and have to squeeze in for photos. Just before I read this, I just want to take this opportunity just to thank each and every one. I think I was able to speak to each of you before the meeting. Maybe Mr. Ring, I didn't get a chance there when you got in, but I truly have enjoyed working with each of you. I know we don't necessarily vote the same way on certain things, and that's okay. I respect everyone's opinions. I enjoy hearing beliefs and opinions that are different from my own, and I think that makes us collectively a better commission. So I just truly thank each of you for the last, whether it be 4 years, 8 years, 9 years, 16 years. Just thank you all for what you've done for your constituents and for the county. And I will read this resolution. The Sumner County Board of County Commissioners meeting in the regular session on this 17th day of August 2026 does hereby honor and commend, and I'll read Ms. Terry Boyd, Mr. Robert B. Brown III, Dr. Mary Janung, Deborah Holmes, David Klein, Jeremy Mansfield, Chrissy Miller, Terry Moss, Kevin Pomeroy, Baker Ring, Danny Sullivan, Dr. Jamie Teachner, and Terry Wright for their service to the Sumner County Commission. And I so move. I'll move to group and approve. Is there a second? All in favor say aye. Any opposed?
No, it's okay. I do want to, but I don't think I'll ask you all.
And each of you have an individual resolution.
Yeah, you are. David, there's yours. These are all in alphabetical order, I'm sorry.
Yeah. All right. While he's doing that, we can go ahead and move on to the recognition of the public. Just to remind everyone, there's a 5-minute time limit. And when you come up here, you can tell us your name and your address and the agenda item. Just ask just to not speak any elected officials by their names. Keep your comments in good taste, which I'm sure you will. We'll start off here with Don Scruggs. Your name and address, please.
My name is Don Scruggs. I live on 141 Bush Lane, and that's up around Union Hill area, Bethpage area, if y'all know where that is. I'm in Mr. Rogers' district. I wanted to thank y'all tonight for your vote of confidence to get me on the agenda tonight. And I want to talk to y'all about the Committee on Committees and about the library board. The library board's been needing a new member for the last 2 or 3 months. I put in for this over a year ago, and I met all y'all's qualifications. Everything y'all asked me for, I've give you, and you can see it on your websites. To tell you a little bit about myself, the ones that don't know me, most of you do, most of y'all do know me, but the ones that don't, I'm a published author. Been a published author for over 30 years, and I've got my own library with over 10,000 books cataloged. There's nobody that's running for the school, running for the library board that would be more qualified than I am. And I wanted to make sure people ask me how I felt about different kind of books in our libraries, and I want to make you a solemn promise. Y'all know where I stand religiously, and I will never, ever vote for a book that you're to put in your library that you wouldn't take to church with you. If you can't take it to the front door of the church, I will not vote for it. And I want to make you a promise tonight that that's the way I'll do it if I'm on the board. And I want to thank you for putting me on the agenda, and I hope to get your vote. And we do need a good representative up around Westmoreland area because we don't have any. We got 3 now in Hendersonville, so it's very unbalanced. And I would appreciate y'all's vote tonight for this library board, and we can get this. We can get the library board. You'd have somebody on the library board you could count on that would vote the right way, that would keep your libraries clean, and you wouldn't be ashamed of it. And I've got other ideas, like for law books and different things. I've got a lot of good ideas for the library, and I would like to have yours vote tonight, and I appreciate you very much. I do appreciate you nominating me and putting me on the agenda, and I do appreciate your confidence, and I will appreciate your confidence if it comes to a vote tonight. If y'all could see clear to get me put on there where we could get some stuff done. It's a payless job, and I don't expect no pay, but I think when you get my age, you need to give back to the county that done for you. I've been in this county all my life, and I think I can honestly tell you I probably got the family that goes back the farthest of anybody in this room. I go back into the Cherokee tribe, and we've been here forever, and I was born and raised in Sumner County, and I'd like to have your vote tonight, And like I say, this would be a vote to keep all your libraries in the county good and clean, good and proper, and it would be a good thing for you. I promise you, it will be a good thing for you. It'll be a good thing for the whole county. And I appreciate your vote, and I thank you very much for letting me talk tonight. You have a good night. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Next up, Mrs. Laura Bagert. Name and address, topic.
Laura Bagert, 424 A.B. Wade Road, Portland. First of all, I just wanted to thank everybody for your service. Sad to see so many of you leaving. You will be missed, and there's goodies out there celebrating all of you for everybody here, so help yourselves. I'll keep it real short. I know you like to move this along. I wanted to speak in favor of Resolution 260807 in favor of the quitclaim deed. I think that the Friends of the Latimer House will do an excellent job, better than government can do, number one. And number two, this is preferable to a lease agreement, so that if any grants could be had, we don't want anything to interfere with that. So the quitclaim deed is the way to go. And now that you voted to put him on the agenda, I hope you'll approve Don Scruggs for the library board. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Cynthia McLeod.
Hello, my name is Cynthia McClure, 102 Tioga Trail, Hendersonville, Tennessee. Get my glasses. You have been tasked to cast your vote for the preservation of a touchstone linked to our county and national history. Over the last few decades, we as a county have seen many such historic properties lost due to lack of funding, carelessness, and simple indifference. With each loss, the ties to the fabric of our shared history starts to fray even more. We begin to forget our connection to the past, which makes us such a unique country, region, society, and people. Mr. William Brown realized the historical nature of his house. He had Tommy Latimer trace ownership back to the original land grant. Mr. Brown wished to preserve the house for future generations as a living link to our history. In doing so, he made a generous allowance for its preservation and technology to our schools. It is the largest such bequest in the history of our county. All he asked is that the home be preserved and maintained as the center of the William and Martha Brown Park. You will be asked to make a decision that has been neglected for over 9 years. 250 years ago, Colonel Jonathan Latimer and his sons were called upon to make their own decision. Would they continue to live on their farm in Connecticut, as they had for 3 generations? Or would they step into the breach and help forge a new nation? They faced the greatest military power of their time, putting family, fortune, and their very lives on the line that was far from a sure outcome. I call on you tonight to honor the spirit of those who came before and the generosity of William Brown. Please vote for the quitclaim deed so preservation of the Latimer House can get underway. This was a proxy statement written by Jim Latimer. He said, I extend my apologies for my absence tonight. I'm out of state on a trip which had been scheduled for several months with no idea it would conflict with this vote. I sincerely hate to miss this crucial meeting. Second one is, hear me clearly. 10 years is 10 years too long. The county is obviously unwilling or unable to preserve the Latimer House in Brown Park. Mr. Brown left a generous gift to fulfill his bequest, but that has been ignored for 10 years. It is beyond time to do the right thing. I implore you to approve the quitclaim deed and transfer the gifted funds to the nonprofit for the preservation of the gem of American history that sits right in the heart of Sumner County. You have the opportunity tonight to do the right thing. By voting to approve the quitclaim deed and transferring the gifted funds to an organization that will honor Mr. Brown's gift and this American legacy, please do so without any further delay. This was a proxy statement written by Justin Richardson. He said, though I was unable to be at the meeting tonight, I call to your memory the numerous emails, calls, and texts you have received from me. I will end with one final thought. We have failed as a society to protect our history. Vote in favor of the quitclaim deed to redeem part of this failure. I'd like to add, Martin Luther King Jr. quoted, "We are not makers of history, we are made by history." That's all I have.
Thank you. And I definitely know Mr. Latimer would absolutely be here if he could. So, Mike McClard. Next up will be Gina Mansfield.
Mike McClard, 102 Tioga Trail, Hendersonville. For y'all that don't know, that is my trophy wife, Cindy. And if you knew how hard it is for her to get in front of people and speak, she'll talk your ear off one-on-one, but to get in front of a crowd like this, it is extremely hard for her, and she only does that when it's something she's very passionate about. Two things. One is term limits. Real quickly, I know this has been brought up month after month after month. It gets voted down every time. I've said for years that term limits is the only thing that's going to save this country. And it starts at the local level and works its way all the way to the top. I know I've been made fun of when I say, that I didn't even know that you guys got paid. I thought you did it as a servant's heart. And I know I get made fun of when I say that, but that's still my belief, that this job is a servant's heart job, not a paycheck job. And I mean, it's just the way I feel. Anyway, for the Brown Latimer House, it's been 10 years, or almost 10 years, and nothing's been done except the yard's been mowed 2 or 3 times, and one of those 2 or 3 times I mowed it. It's sitting there. Some of the pictures on Facebook did not do the justice that it is today. Some of the pictures showed a nice mowed yard, all the big pillars across the front still there. It's not like that now. One of the pillars has blown down. It's laying on the ground. The weeds have grown up on the sides of it. You have to wade through weeds to get through it. There were dozens of big limbs that have fallen, and what little mowing has been done this year, you can only mow about half of it, if that, because of the limbs that are down. I asked if I could go down there and do it and was told no. So it's time that this gets done. I would ask that you vote the quitclaim. I think that would move it along a lot faster. It would take government out of it. It would allow the Friends of the Latimer Brown House, it would allow them to go forward with it without having all the government bureaucracy that goes along with government. So I would ask that you pass that, and I appreciate each and every one of you. To all the ones that are leaving, thank you for your service. I mean, I know this isn't it isn't an easy job, believe me. You have to deal with people like me. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Gina Mansfield, and then Mr. Kevin Baker.
Gina Mansfield, 113 Luna Lane, Hendersonville, Tennessee. And there are those commissioners who have worked earnestly along with the county mayor to come up with a few options to potentially resolve the issue of the Latimer House tonight. The first, best, and simplest option, the quitclaim deed, will not only resolve the issue of the deteriorating house, but will also get it restored the quickest, most efficient, and most immediate way. With the available information given to you weeks ago, you have had the necessary time to study the two options. If you vote for the first and best option, the quitclaim deed, it will give the house and money to the nonprofit Friends of the Latimer House, the people who support the restoration of the house and have been concerned about its safety for 10 long years. For 10 years, the county chose not to maintain the house, so perhaps it's time to give the Friends of the Latimer House the necessary tools to do so. As you know, the quitclaim deed includes a preservation covenant and a reversion clause, meaning if the Friends of the Latimer House don't maintain the house properly, it reverts back to the county, a win-win for the county. If you vote for the lease, the second option, responsibility of overseeing the restoration of the house will remain with the county that for the last 10 years has essentially done nothing to maintain the house. However, the county has succeeded in causing continued consternation for the Latimer and Brown families. And in the county's hands, any effort to maintain the house could take months, years, or worse, not at all. A lease keeps three things in the county's hand: the title, the architect, which the house does not need at a cost of $40,000, and control of who restores the house and when it's done. Additionally, without an architect's fee, the home can be completed under budget with the quitclaim deed. Also, if you vote for a lease for the Latimer House, in comparison to the bridal log house, some would expect the county to be responsible for insurance, property taxes, basic amenities, and further maintenance, just as with the Latimer House, which incidentally had, the bridal house, which incidentally has no lease and no oversight at all. Also, the Latimer House is insured for $870,000 and the bridal house $572,000. Ask yourself, why is the Latimer House insured for almost $300,000 more than the bridal house? And in addition, money made from events run by the Friends of the Bridal House, they keep. The county gets none of that money, even though the county pays for the bridal house's expenses. So it should also be for the Latimer House, if least due to expectations. For 10 long years, the supporters of the Latimer House have not appreciated the county's problematic culture created by lack of transparency and accountability, willful ignorance, and political game playing. This type of culture has been deeply insulting, and we are truly, truly concerned with your lack of appreciation for the Latimer House as a living testament of Sumner County's history. Also, we have become painfully aware there was never, or it seems there was never any intention of saving the Latimer House. Any success of this house's maintenance by the county has been jeopardized, as evidenced by at least 4 things. Number 1, the negligence and the delinquency of the house and the property for 10 years. You can't even see the house from the road due to the overgrowth that Mike was talking about. Number 2, not replacing the driveway when Wolfpack Way was built. You can't drive to the house from the road because there is no driveway. Number 3, one commissioner's comment who was in favor of the $1.2 million park, which excluded the house, who said, and I quote, "The house was in better condition than we initially thought, so it hasn't deteriorated enough to remove it. And if it had been put on the historic registry, we would have more reason to restore it." And number 4, if you vote for the second option, the lease, you will be refusing to honor not only Mr. Brown's wishes after 10 long years, but also for the people who care about the house and who want to see it safely restored. Again, as evidenced by these overwhelming 4 things, it appears the intention of the county is to let the house continue to rot. This entire 10-year escapade has been deeply offensive to people who care about Sumner County's history. Therefore, we were requesting a vote to quitclaim deed the house to the nonprofit Friends of the Latimer House so it can be restored by those who appreciate its existence as the Revolutionary Era Latimer House at the William and Martha Brown Park. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Kevin Baggert. And up next is Ms.
Thank you, Mr.
Donnie or
Chairman.
Daniel Kent?
Kevin Biggert, 424 A.B. Wade Road. First, I'd also like to congratulate the retiring commissioners, but I'd also like to throw out a little challenge. In the 12 years that I've been wasting my time coming to these meetings, I don't think I've ever seen any returning county commissioner come here unless they had been offered a higher position within the county infrastructure. I challenge you all to get involved and stay involved. You once said to us that you wanted to be public servants. Public servants doesn't end when you're not getting paid or being expected to show up. So please, keep coming. The first thing I'd like to talk about is the docketing of the arbitrage. It's in the consent agenda. $7,660.37 was a fee we paid to the IRS. And I'd just like to remind everybody that it wasn't that long ago that the leadership in this county had committed to being debt-free. Not only would you save that $7,600 this year, but the millions of dollars that we pay in debt service would have been going to projects and fund projects. And as Dave Ramsey, a well-known Tennessean, would say, the first step to being independently wealthy is to get rid of debt. We could have done that a few years ago. Like to move on. My trophy wife also told me I better bring up the term limits and say yes about the vote for term limits. Or I'll get yelled at when I get home. Anyhow, I also throw my support behind the quitclaim deed for the Latimer House at the William and Martha Brown Park. It's been long overdue. 9+ years ago, Mr. Brown left us that gift, the least we can do. And this is a perfect little segue. The whole idea of having a private firm or a private entity like the Friends of the Latimer House do this work is going to be a segue into something that happened this past Saturday. I was speaking at the Republican breakfast after the meeting to a couple of sitting judges in Sumner County, 2 independent conversations. And in both cases, I said to each one of them, I said, you know something, government doesn't do anything really well. And they both agreed with me. And this plays into the whole point. 9 years later, the house is decaying. Give it to a private entity. But my whole point about bringing up the judges was the fact that I now want to talk about the opioid committee. What I also said to both of those judges is, you 2 men are heroes. Those are the least of my brethren, those people down on their luck in the recovery courts. And every time they have a court and they save one of those souls, that's a victory for Sumner County. And that's a victory for anybody that calls themselves a Christian. And I'd like to just throw my support behind the making this opioid committee a standalone committee. Keep it going. This is work that needs to be done. The least of our brethren depend upon it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, sir. Donnie Kent and then Wanda Doris.
Hi, I'm Danya Kent. I live at 1030 Chris Drive in Portland, Tennessee. I think that we should pass this quitclaim deed. It's so hard on the tongue, because we need to protect history. We need to vote for Mr. Scruggs because we need to protect our children. So that's it from me.
Thank you, ma'am. Wanda Doris and then Scott Langford. Your name, address, and topic. Go ahead.
Name, address,
And yeah, the agenda.
Gotcha.
item.
My name is Wanda Doris, 1201 Brinkley Branch Road, Gallatin, Tennessee. First of all, I just want to say thank you all. I know a little bit about what y'all do and what you've been. I'm blessed tonight to be in my Uncle Bethel's chambers again. Politicking door to door. My brother, Ricky Goetz, was a great commissioner, helped outreach beyond his district, which I always thought was commendable. So thank y'all. I understand it's not easy, and you got a lot of pull at you. I live at 1201 Brinkley Branch. Our farm was a part of the farm in question. The colonel, my father-in-law, he is buried on our farm. The colonel that lived in that home. The people his families, the Latimers. They come to our farm openly, whenever. They take care of that graveyard. There's others there, but they are the ones that take care of it. And we see them come in the spring, all the cars up our drive, open our gate out into our field where the stand of trees are over there. It means something to me, really. That's all I'll say about that. But they do take very good care of the graveyard that's on our farm. I have no doubt that it won't look great when they take care of it, because I see their work. What was I going to say? Let me think. Oh, I know the one thing, about history. My feeling, I don't know a lot about anything. I think wrong has been done. I don't know. I'm not nobody. But I think wrong has been done. And I think several of you know wrong has been done. It might have not been in y'all's hands, but wrong has been done. A lot of good people out in the area. I know there's a lot of new people. But this history means something to some people. I don't think Mr. Brown was done right. That's my opinion. It's worth nothing. But I look and think of all these kids on the land that the gentleman gave 3 schools. They get on our county buses that drive here and here and here for field trips when they could take daily walks at different times, perfect setting for a class 101 good time, and let them know the grounds that they're getting their education on, what it stood for, what it was. Everybody knows kids now, the life now they live. Let them have something to where they went to school all their years. Here's the history of the land my school was on. And all I'm asking, I guess the quick claim, there again, I'm nobody. But what I really want to ask you is to do what God tells you to do. Please. That's all any of us can ask. Because he's the one that's right about all. And if you vote the way you vote and we see how you vote, we'll understand. All I want you to do is what's in your heart. No politics. It's between you and God. It's not between any of us, but you and God. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Scott Langford, and then Stephen King will be next. Name and address, sir.
Scott Langford, 1260 12 Stones Crossing, Gillettsville, Tennessee. First off, I want to just say thank you to the retiring and outgoing commissioners. No one knows the amount of hours and the service that you put in. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you. I know Commissioner Ring, especially after many years, I hope you can take some time to reflect back on the amazing work that you've led. Mr. Sullivan, the same, and really for everyone that's departing, thank you for your service. I started to bring my gavel one last time, Mr. Mansfield, so we could... But I wanted to, beyond just thanking everybody, as we move forward into a new era of Sumner County, we've had lots of battles and we've had lots of victories, and we've moved forward as we celebrate the 250th anniversary of our country. Give a huge shout out to Mayor Isbell, because I think he's done a tremendous job of steering the ship and trying to connect us together. Mr. Harris on Gen Ops the last few months, trying to get us to a place where we are tonight. I'm very thankful for the work that's taken place. And Mayor Isbell reflected on July 8th about how what's made our country great is not that we don't have battles, not that we don't have wars and fights, but that we learn how to grab hands together and work together to do good things for the community. And I think that we're in one of those times now. I think there's lots of ways we can continue to sit here and cast blame and aspersions and everything else, or we can do something for the county. I think, Martin Luther King was quoted earlier. He also said, if we continue to exchange an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, we'll wake up one day as a nation that's blind and toothless. And we've swapped a lot of eyes and teeth over the last at least 12 years, maybe 40 years, Mr. Hyde, I'm not sure. But it's time for us to move forward as a county. I can tell you, I can't speak for the school board. They vote. We have 11 voting members on the school board that will vote tomorrow night. My recommendation tomorrow night will be whatever y'all decide tonight. We are fine. We'll have our attorneys look tomorrow, but As long as Mr. Sittler's good with it, I think the quitclaim works, and we're good with that. So hopefully that'll help the deliberations tonight, and we can move forward as a county and continue to do great things. I grew up about 3/4 of a mile from this house. My grandfather lived across the street on Brinkley Branch. I've ridden horses back there since I was a child. It's an area that's near and dear to my heart. It has changed tremendously, and yet it maintains the same beauty, same aesthetics. And I think that a bunch of old farmers who worked hard to raise tobacco and chickens and corn and everything else they could to survive would be thrilled to see a school campus that really sets the standard for the state, because they all valued learning. And I think if we can merge that learning by telling the history of our county in a way that's powerful and productive, then the county is richer for it. So thank y'all.
Appreciate it, sir. Stephen King, and then Derek Glover.
All right, Stephen King, 123 Windland Circle, Goodlettsville, Tennessee, 37072. All right, Mr. Chairman, members of the County Commission, I strongly support the quitclaim deed for the Latimer House. I'm also a Sumner County School Board member for District 5, and this property sits geographically in my district, and I served on the Latimer House Ad Hoc Committee along with another school board member, Miss Kathy Stewart. My constituents in District 5 have expressed unilateral support for the restoration of the Latimer home as directed in the will of Mr. Brown. And I believe a majority of Sumner County citizens also share the opinion of my constituents. And of course, tonight I speak in support of the quitclaim. I believe that's the best path forward and the most practical. And I just want to say that we are incredibly, incredibly fortunate. For 10 years, the house sat there, and you know, when I served on the ad hoc committee, we had an architect do an inspection on the home, and he was amazed, or they were amazed at what they found. For a log structure dating to around 1790, and particularly one that has received so little attention in nearly a decade, the condition of the original logs is in remarkable state. And somehow this house survived. And I want to share some other good news on this. I want to share that the school board received notice from the Army Corps of Engineers and TDEC that they have now approved a mitigation boundary that excludes the Latimer house and provides access to it. What that means is the house is not in any land restriction area, environmental mitigation area, or buffer zone. And in fact, the environmental boundaries are drawn in such a way to accommodate the house. And I shared an email with the entire commission along with a map on that. So environmental mitigation can move forward. The park and preservation of the home can move forward. The two are not in conflict. And now we have an organization, Friends of the Latimer House, who are willing to take responsibility for preserving it. Now, some have said that the school board, as a joint owner of the property, should be more directly involved. And as a member of that board, I will say this. We have not been excluded. We have been involved. I served on the ad hoc committee along with Kathy Stewart from District 9. And the meetings were open to all members and of the school board. And to my knowledge, Ms. Stewart and I were the only ones who attended, but I'm fairly confident that quite a few of the other board members have kept up with this issue. And you know, say what you will about the school board being a joint owner, I think the responsibility, you know, tonight what we're really looking at is the responsibility described in Mr. Brown's estate documents rests with the county. And tonight's action allows the county to carry that out. From a practical standpoint, the school system manages millions of square feet of educational space with infrastructure for learning as its focus. Historic preservation is a different mission, one better suited to an organization formed for that very purpose. And so this lets everyone do what they do best. And so tomorrow night at the school board meeting, I will be encouraging my fellow board members to vote on whatever is approved tonight. And in closing, I just want to say we have an opportunity tonight. Imagine our students walking that campus and seeing that history preserved, not erased. And so we need to preserve this for our students. They deserve it. And 50 years from now, people won't remember the arguments or the disputes or who disagreed with whom. They will either see a beautifully restored historic landmark or an empty space where one used to stand. This house has survived for more than 2 centuries. It has survived nearly 10 years of uncertainty and neglect. The question is, will it survive us? So let's make sure that happens. I respectfully ask you to vote yes on the quitclaim deed and preserve this extraordinary piece of Sumner County history for generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Derek Glover, and then Brenda King. Your name and address, please.
Good afternoon. Derek T. Latimer Glover. I reside at 3481 Apache Road, Jamestown, Tennessee. I'd like to speak on the Latimer House. I am the 6th great-grandson of Colonel Jonathan Latimer. Jim Latimer, who all of y'all know, is a cousin of mine. I'm very proud of him. I'm also proud of this commission for taking the time out of your lives to serve. That is an honor. It's an honor to serve, like it was the honor of my 6th great-grandfather, Colonel Jonathan Latimer, to serve and help give birth to a nation. And here we stand in our sesquicentennial of the Declaration of Independence, the 250th anniversary, and we're talking about preserving the home of a Revolutionary War veteran and his family, Jonathan Jr., and Charles, who's an uncle of mine. So I don't need to rehash a lot of what's been said tonight. All the big points have been made tonight. Heritage preservation and promotion matters, especially when it's sandwiched right in between some schools. It's a perfect storm. And the quitclaim deed is the best option forward. And I know that a lot of you know that. And search in your hearts and say, if this was my ancestor, would I be proud of that ancestor? And would I want this house to be in this state of decay, knowing that out of the generosity of Mr. Brown, that money has been gifted to restore this house? Yeah, this really is a no-brainer. I thank you all for your consideration. Search your hearts. Do the right thing. Thank you for serving. God bless the United States and our troops. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Brenda King, I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that. And then Aaron McBride will be up next.
Hi, Brenda King. I'm from 1008 Village Green Crossing, Gallatin. I'm just here to say this is what the man would have fought for, so I think we should too. This land is very important to me, and at least most of the people here. And I really love Sumner County history. I'm trying to write books about people in Sumner County, and I think Mr. Latimer would be a really great person to study about. So please preserve his house so people can enjoy it like he wanted.
Good job, good job. Aaron McBride, and then Linda King.
Hi, my name is Aaron McBride, 200 Hunters Lane, 31-year Sumner County resident and 17-year neighbor to Mr. Brown. I got to meet him when he was walking his wife down the gravel road from that beautiful cabin, holding her hand, taking her to the fence to get her mail. He met my dogs, he said hello, And on occasion, I would get stuck behind his little white truck on the way to New Shackle. It took half a day to get there, but he was slow and steady, and he was humble, and he was smart. And to have that kind of discipline, to save that kind of money and to hand that over, it's as if Mr. Brown left his wallet here for us. And are we doing that wallet justice? Are we going to take out what belongs to him and make a great memory for him? I went to his estate sale, and what I found was a simple house with a simple desk and a simple radio. This was Mr. Brown's radio on his Sears and a Roebuck desk that he ordered from a catalog. And I told my wife, I said, is it valuable? No, but the man that had the discipline that sat there and saved his money, is that really the man who decided to give all his money to the technology department? It sounds like he would give it to Willy Wonka, maybe. This was his technology on a simple Sears and Roebuck desk. There was a Disneyland brochure with an amphitheater and walkways and all these wonderful things. I have a picture of it on my phone somewhere. One of the reasons why we stayed here to see this man's legacy, this man who decided to further and strengthen Sumner County, a simple man with a simple radio. Near Music City, this was it. And I was telling my wife, I can't wait till that cabin's done so I can give that desk back, give this radio back, and honor a man that gave everything for you. I was so honored to be here and pledge to the flag and say a prayer here. And for those Christians in the room, when did Jesus get mad? It was money changers. When did he flip the tables? It was in occasions like this. So I say in closing, honor Mr. Brown. Just give his wallet back. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. And thank you. And Linda King.
Linda King, 1008 Village Green Crossing, Gallatin. That was my daughter that spoke a minute ago. I'm going to keep this really short and sweet because I drove 8 hours today to be here for this, and I'm very tired. I have studied Sumner County history now for 2 years, working at the Douglas Clark House, and every day I get to see people from all over the world, not just the state of Tennessee, who come in and remark how remarkable it is that we've saved the houses that we already have. So I just want to encourage us to vote yes for that quitclaim deed, and let's get this project moving so we can have yet another treasure here in Sumner County and preserve it for those people who come just to see that. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, that concludes recognition of the public on agenda items. Moving on, report of the chair. I'd just like to thank, as we're wrapping up this last year, it's been a joy to serve as the chairman. Definitely, very honored and humbled, and some of those meetings I wanted to pull my hair out, and luckily I got a lot of it. But no, I definitely enjoyed it, and again, thank you all who are moving along for your service. Your veteran service report is on your desk. And our financial statement memo as well. Item number 3, rescheduling September committee meetings due to Labor Day holiday. I know, is that the first? I guess Labor Day is the first Monday. No, that would be the first Monday, yeah. Yeah. So I don't know, typically the meetings that typically are held on the first Mondays, Typically, we'll move them to Tuesdays, but I see Mr. Harrison in the queue. You want to speak to this, sir? Yes. Okay, I'll let you go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll make a motion that we move the September committee meetings from the 7th, which is Labor Day, to the 8th, that would typically meet on that first Monday.
Okay. All right. There's a motion and a second to move the typical first Monday meetings from the 7th, move those to the 8th. There's a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Show that's unanimous. Thank you, sir. Item number 4, we added to the agenda. Mr. Wynn brought that to us. It is on your desk. Again, this is the second reading. So, okay, there's a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Show that is unanimous. All right. Report of the county officials, written reports to be filed. The notaries, is there a motion for the notaries? So motion and a second. Let's put that on the board.
Each commissioner record your vote.
All right. Unanimous there. Report of the standing committees. Health and Emergency Services. No report. Education. No report. Highway. No report. Okay. All right. General Ops. Mr. Harris.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. Can I direct a question to the county attorney before we get started?
Go ahead.
Can item 1 and 2 not be linked together, or do we need to vote on them separately?
Excuse me. The reason they're separated is they're technically two different things. I don't know why they can't be grouped and approved. It's just that the body of the deed itself is a separate executing document, and the resolution is obviously the part that will put that into motion. So it can be grouped and approved, but it needs to be.
So we can group 1, 2, and 5?
Correct, yes, if that's the will of the body.
I will make that motion.
Okay. So there is a motion and a second to group and approve items D, 1, 2, and 5. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And it's properly seconded. Mr. Teachner.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to speak really quickly. First of all, it's been a pleasure to serve. I'm very thankful for that. Thankful to serve with everybody here. And I heard somebody say, I won't say who because it doesn't matter, but they said, you know, they were counting down, had a countdown calendar for when this day we're here. And I honestly hope we all feel that way. And I say that honestly because I know that there's a lot of incoming commissioners coming, and we're talking about preserving history. I hope our best days are before us. Are coming after we're gone, because I'm praying for the commissioner that takes my seat, and I pray that the ones that come in, I really do want that. And so as that happens, you know, you look through history. I remember I drove over to I was going to Virginia, and I pulled in, because country music history.
I'm going to interrupt. Is this about this item?
Yes, it's 100%.
Okay. Right.
Yes, sir. Amen. But I was driving to Virginia, and I pulled into, because it means so much to me, country music. I pulled in, I went through the tour, I paid the $12 or whatever, and I went through the whole tour, and I said, okay, where was it that the Carter family recorded? Where was it that Jimmy Rogers recorded? And they said, oh, that place was torn down, and it was over across town. And so I went over to the marker, and it made me sad, because it meant so much. And that's not our own backyard. That's country music. It means a lot to me. But, you know, you go in, I remember when I was a little boy, I went through Hank Williams' house that had been moved up to Music Row right there. Minnie Pearl used to be there. Johnny Cash's house burnt down. We have a treasure right here. And I just pray that we get the chance to keep it around for the folks that might forget, because I know that I was teaching college, and half the students didn't know who Paul McCartney was, and he's still living. So I don't want to forget the ones that came before and paved the way, because the Browns, the Latimers, whomever lived in that house would be my current constituents if they were living today. So I hope that we do honor to them, and I thank everybody for the chance to serve. Love y'all.
Appreciate it. Mr. Mansfield.
Thank you. I just had a
question for the law director real quick on the quitclaim deed conveyance as far as Exhibit A. That looks like it's going to the original driveway from Mr. Brown, and looking at the T-deck and U.S. Army Corps of Engineers drawings as well as surveys for the past year. We've seen those documents. It doesn't go that direction. It goes to the right. If you're looking at the conveyance map that you have on here, going to the left, the driveway now goes to the right. And that's actually, Member King had emailed everybody today. I'm just confirming that this is a conveyance based on what TDEC and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers have approved as far as the new access that we've been talking about for a year.
Mr. Law Director, can you speak to that?
That would be considered an access issue, which can be modified once the title has transferred. I was specifically told at Gen Ops that the conveyance was to mirror the life estate exactly, so that's the direction I went. But at any time, the easement, especially if TDEC's involved, it's going to require the movement of that stuff, we'd be legally bound to realign how the easement is going to be. Actually, using this specific one, the easement's contemplated, but that could be moved. That should not be an issue.
I just wanted to clarify on the record, make sure that was not something that was going to be set in stone. Can't change it, because obviously we wouldn't be able to do it here according to the board, the documents from the school board and their approved plan from TDEC and the Army Corps that got approved.
Those can always be modified, and if you'll notice, there's not an address either because there's the dedication of a road that's involved. I don't know what address is going to want to be assigned to this, so there are a couple of issues such as the final placement of the access and what the address is going to be called, so those will have to be determined. I'm hoping we can get some resolution once it goes through the school board.
Okay, since these were all grouped and approved together with the final piece being the restricted fund agreement, I did want to, if this piece of paper that I guess was on our desk on the second page, if everybody can look, it is the second whereas agreement. It says, whereas the agreement also requires a recipient, comma, at its own expense, comma. I wanted to make a motion to strike at its own expense, and here's why. I spoke with Mrs. Browning from Finance, and I guess she concurred with my reasoning, but the fact is that this money was left for the permanent maintenance of the home, and insurance and liability is part of that fund, was what was left. And so I don't see why we would restrict them from using, if there's leftover funds from the construction, to be able to apply towards any type of liability insurance from that restricted fund. So I wanted to just strike that language, and that was my only motion there. And the reasoning why is because of how can you maintain a home if you can't insure a home? And that's what the Coddleston will said. So I just wanted to clear that up. This was not a part of what it came out of Gen Ops. This was changed from Gen Ops, and so I just wanted to clarify.
All right, so there's motion second. So the packet that's on your desk, it's, Mr. Mansfield, correct me if I'm wrong, it's on the second page.
Yes.
The second whereas.
Just a second whereas, and I want to strike at its own expense.
So
that's it.
Does everyone see where we're talking about? The second page, second whereas. You see that, Mr. Law Director? Okay. Yes. What's your point? Can you get his microphone? The point of information is, did this come from Gen Ops? Right? Mr. Harris, can you, where did this come from?
The resolution was written after, because it wasn't at Gen Ops, and so it was instructed for the law director to add the resolution at Gen Ops.
Oh.
And so this has been in the packet, but I just saw that language was added to the resolution that came out of Gen Ops. I mean, basically. Okay. And that was the only question I had about that, was just the.
So Mr. Nguyen, the answer to your question there was the resolution was written after the meeting, and that's what it is. So, all right. So there's a motion to strike the at its own expense, and it was seconded. Mr. Harrison, for this amendment? No. Mr. Jones, this amendment? All right, go, can you get Mr., okay, go ahead.
I just wanted to provide a little bit of information to the question that was asked. I think the intent of Exhibit A that was put into the quitclaim deed,
But this is on this Mr. Mansfield's amendment.
well, he mentioned that, he wanted to make sure of that, but I was
No,
going to talk to
but
both
we're
of them.
talking about the amendment now. The motion on the floor is an amendment. I just want to make sure.
Was there not an amendment about the access point too?
No.
Okay, well, I'll talk about the one, then I'll talk about the other next, but I'll get back in the queue.
This is only about removing at its own expense.
The insurance question, yes. I talked with Ms. Browning about this as well, and I think the reason why is, it's my understanding that that paragraph was added because we did not cover the insurance portion in the meeting, so they added a section in there about insurance and just put language in there that we could change or not change, and it just makes sense to me to use the fund to pay for that insurance. It would not make sense to take it out of any other place than that. So I asked her if we could take that out. She said absolutely we could take that out if that's what we wanted to do. So it still stands, it's still good as long as we just take those 4 words out at its own expense. So I'm good with that. I'll get back in the queue for the other one.
Mr. Klein about this? No. Mr. Ring about this specific? No. Mr. Nguyen about this specific amendment? Okay, Mr. Nguyen. Go ahead.
So removing the words "at its own expense" to maintain the property casualty insurance and fidelity bond or criminal insurance described in Article 5. That's the motion, correct?
Yeah, to remove the 4 words "at its own expense."
Okay, so what about the rest of that paragraph? So to furnish the annual interim accounting described in Article 6, maintain the status of the nonprofit corporation in good standing, and to comply with the reversion, repayment, successor, organization, and other stewardship provisions stated in the agreement. I agree with the maintenance of the property and casualty, but I think striking the "at its own expense," why don't we just remove, or maybe put that in a different area, but I think pulling it out, and it's like now we're paying for furniture and everything else for the nonprofit as well if we're striking that "at its own expense."
I'm trying to understand your question there. Yeah, I don't believe your interpretation is what Mr. I'm gonna yield the floor, Mr. Mansfield, to respond to that.
In the packet, the actual packet, there wasn't this resolution addendum that got sent to us last week after the agenda came out. The actual agreement is in here, in the packet, and Section 2 of that, I think, agreement. This is just the resolution for the agreement. It's not the agreement. So we got the resolution for the restricted fund agreement, and we actually have the restricted fund agreement. So restricted fund agreement came out, and it had a listing of things that restricted for the fund: maintaining the home, the property, the park, et cetera, everything that Will and Codicil listed. And so it didn't specifically say liability insurance, that you could use it for that. And so I understand what the law director did because it wasn't listed in that actual agreement. And so, but my argument is, what this is saying is that the recipient can't use Mr. Brown's money to insure the home. The nonprofit would have to raise outside funds to insure the home. And that to me doesn't make sense or carry the spirit of the actual will or codicil or the gift given to maintain the home, because he literally said to maintain the home permanently, the historic home, as a centerpiece of a public park. And how part of that maintenance is required is to insure the property, obviously for vandalism, terrorism, all those typical coverages that are insurance policies. So that is my concern here, was that, if there's money left over from the renovation, there's a couple, $10,000, $20,000, they couldn't apply that from a restricted fund to go towards the insurance, which I think is super important. So I just want to make sure that this language does not prohibit them from using any funds from Mr. Brown, because everything in here says that those funds from Mr. Brown have to be in a separate account, cannot be commingled with any from the nonprofit that they raise, their own money, 2 separate accounts, and all the accounting to the comptroller, the finance office, the clerk. But I just wanted to make, that's removing at its own expense, and I spoke with Ms. Browning. She said if you remove that language, it basically makes it clear that they're not prohibited from using that, any extra funds from that account to go towards liability insurance. Because that's what this entire whereas is about. So that's all.
So
Gotcha.
I
Okay.
want to ask a question. So a point of information is, if there's no money left over after the renovations, then this money would be funded from money that they fundraise.
100%, because
Okay.
it says
I
the
just-
agreement also requires the recipient to maintain property cash. If you remove, I mean, it still reads that way. So yes,
I wanted to clarify that just in case there were questions.
they're still required to do it. It's just this removes any prohibition. Let's say there's $20,000 left over, and it's like, okay, we can't use it to maintain the home through insurance. That's just kind of goofy.
So, Mr. Chairman, I guess,
yeah, Mr. Wynn.
and I agree with that portion of it with the insurance part, but it's the other piece in there with the annual interim and accounting. Also, too, the status of the nonprofit corporation in good standing, and then any of the compliance and stewardship provisions. Some of that I feel like would be the nonprofit. So like the financial reporting of the nonprofit should be on the nonprofit, right? But by removing that.
Yeah, all of this is the nonprofit. This is not the county, this is the nonprofit's responsibility.
I understand that, but we're saying that now we can use the Brown funding to cover accounting expense, reporting expense, to cover, if you take that language out, unless I'm missing it, we're saying it's okay to have the insurance, which I'm okay with, to have those funds pay for insurance, but then we're also saying that it's okay for those funds to also pay for the annual and interim accounting described in Article 6.
I got you.
Yeah,
I understand your concern.
Yeah, it's the back half of that, which I think is it kind of bleeds into what the nonprofit would.
I read the intent to basically stop at the first semicolon, but, so I'm going to, point taken.
I'd like to offer an amendment then to the amendment.
Okay, what is that?
So still striking everything. I think after the Article 5, put a period, and then also requires recipient, and then the rest of that.
Okay. Yeah. All right, so so the amendment to the amendment is to basically put a period after that Article 5, and then state that they're also at its own expense to furnish, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. Is the original, okay, so who seconded? All right, so the original amendment maker is okay with that. So now the amendment, I appreciate that clarification, Mr. Wynn, that's a good point. All right, Mr. Jones on this amendment? Okay. All right, no one else in the queue on this amendment. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Show that is unanimous. Okay, so we're back. So that amendment passes. Mr. Harrison.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A couple of questions for the law director, if you wouldn't mind directing those to him. Number one, the 501c3, it's been my understanding that it's got its paperwork with the state, but not its IRS approval. It came today. Okay. All right. That takes care of.
Can you share for the rest of us what came today?
I'll yield to Mr. Mansfield since he's got it, if he wants to read it. Okay. I'd like to stay in the queue, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Latimer reached out to me this afternoon and let me know providentially that after 2 weeks of application that they actually received this today. approval as a 501c3. I do have it gave it to the law director and the finance director a copy. And so they are officially a 501c3 as determined by the IRS. So that is, I know that was in the mayor's proposal. I know the language is actually all throughout this as well, and they actually got it today providentially. So I'll consider that a miracle.
All right, great. All right, Mr. Harrison?
Yes, sir, and that will also be included in our minutes, correct?
Yes, I just gave it to.
Okay, all right, thank you. My second, that takes care of one amendment. I would like to offer an amendment, and this is probably covered, and if it is, forgive me, because, you know, I did not read it in its entirety, but I did read a large portion of it. I would like to amend that no, because we do have precedent for this, no additional taxpayer funds, once the quitclaim deed is conveyed, will be spent on this property, including any improvements to the easement as granted. That's my amendment.
Okay. All right, there's a motion and a second for the amendment. Mr. Harrison, can you just repeat that amendment just one more time, please?
Once the property is conveyed, no additional taxpayer money will be expended on the property or for any improvements to the easement that's granted.
All right.
With this resolution.
All right. So there's an amendment on the floor.
And I'd like to speak to that and explain kind of where my
go
thought
ahead.
process is.
Go ahead.
We're granting a 50-foot easement, and there's going to have to be access granted to that, and it's going to be a rough area. I think that if the schools are out there mowing, I think that's fine. But to come in and maybe ask the highway department to come pave or something like that, I think that ought to be on the nonprofit, any funds that they may raise. So I just don't want to see taxpayer money used for that since they are getting the money. I'm for the quitclaim deed. I'm for giving the 500 plus. I just don't want to see taxpayer dollars funding like a paving of this access area. That's where I'm getting that. So.
Okay. All right. Mr. Klein on this amendment? No. Mr. Ring on this amendment? No. Mr. Jones on this amendment? So is that a no? All right. Mr. Schoaf on this amendment? All right, can you hit Mr. Schoaf?
And this is to the maker of the amendment, if you could route it to Mr. Harrison. The way I'm understanding this is we're basically just treating this property like a private property with this easement. Is that the spirit of this?
Yes.
The easement is still.
Hit Mr. Harrison. There you go.
When we grant the easement, it will still be county property or school board property. But it's going into the 0.8 acres. So we would still be responsible for maintaining it. But according to what I've just been told, it's just intended to be a gravel driveway. And if that's it, then that's fine. But I just think that ought to be at the nonprofit's expense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think I understand. That's fine.
Okay. All right. No one else in queue. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? So that's unanimous. Mr. Harrison, did you have another? Okay. All right. Mr. Klein.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to address, if you would, to the mayor, since this is on the agenda for tomorrow night's school board meeting, if he would be willing to sign the document tomorrow morning so that they have it tomorrow for their meeting.
Yeah, I'll let the mayor speak to that. Can you hit Mr. Mayor? Did you hear the question?
No, repeat the question, please.
Mr. Klein.
Tomorrow night, the school board has on the agenda already to approve or deny this resolution by the county. And I want to just see if you're willing to send it over to the school board in the morning, if it's approved tonight, so that we can fast track this.
Yeah, it would depend on when legal and Carolyn's office gets it to me.
Yeah, there's been a couple amendments, so they have to,
Right.
And I know there's, the director of schools and a school board member, or the director of schools said that he would support, I think both of them said they would support whatever we vote on. So according to what the mayor said, if however fast legal can get it to the mayor's office, he will, Mr. Mayor, I won't, correct me if I'm wrong, you'll sign it and get it pushed through.
Great. Okay, thank you.
All right. Mr. Ring.
Couple of questions. Number one, if we're going to give the $500,000 to the nonprofit for the building, what becomes of the park? That money, there will be no park unless the county or the Board of Education or both come up with more money than the $500,000, because I'm sure that it's going to take most or all of this $500,000 to restore that house. So I don't see that we once had a $500,000 grant from the state that was going to go towards that park, but we lost that because of inaction. So Mr. Brown's will specifically said he wanted a park with the house as the centerpiece. Well, we may have a house, but there ain't going to be no park unless the county or the school board and or the Board of Education decide that they want to pony up more money, several $100,000 more money for a park. So we need to keep that into consideration. The other question I have is, can we donate something to a nonprofit without 30 days notice?
Yeah, it would need to be properly noticed.
Has it been properly noticed, asking the attorney?
Well, my answer is no, but.
Because we don't have anything to notice yet.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I'm asking, because if we're going to vote tonight to give them the house, then it needs to be noticed before we can do that.
No, it'll be, if we vote for this, it'll be noticed.
And have to be voted again next month.
I'm not 100% sure on that. I do not have an answer for you.
But that's what happened with the volunteer fire department.
If we legally need
information.
to, we would do that.
Because that's what we had to do before, is we had to, it was voted on last month, and we had to vote it again this month, right, on the volunteer fire department?
That was because it was a tax
Okay.
in a state issue. That's on
Can you
the
speak
license.
into the microphone?
But now,
That's based on the license. plate.
right, but don't donations to nonprofits have to be noticed 30 days in advance?
I think there's a carve-out on the transfer of real property
Okay.
and the
That's why I'm
county's
asking.
ability to do that. So I just don't have an answer. I mean, I spent all week getting 5 documents together off this Brown House from a Tuesday night meeting, so
Gotcha.
I don't
Thank
have
you.
an answer.
So, but I will go ahead and state, like, if this gets grouped and approved, if anything needs to come back forth, next month, we make sure it does. Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just wanted to correct the record. There is a park. There's already a park there. And we have the only interpretation of a park intended by Mr. Brown. The interpretation from a family member was, and I quote, "My interpretation of what would make Bill satisfied by a park is grass mowed by the county, any invasive shrubs are removed. This would be something that looks like the yard they had there. Maintain the house and have a small park legally and morally," from my uncle's wording. That was from his niece. So we've already declared that there is a park there. I wanted to talk about, on the back page of Resolution 2608-07, the little drawing of the life estate property, just for clarification. I know what the law director said, that access can be changed. I think the intent was this, and the mayor mentioned, and we mentioned in general operations, that Exhibit A was going to be the original meets and bounds of the life estate. This did include the original easement on there, which doesn't go with what we intended for the easement. And this right here, I've got one here for you guys if you want to pass it around. This is the PRM boundary that was approved by the Corps of Engineers and the TDEC. and it shows the easement already carved out. So there's already a specific place for the easement. We don't have to rehash that. I know that we could, but it's already there. It's solid, so that's what it's going to be. Doesn't interfere with any of the permittee restricted mitigation boundary. So we're good on that one. I think the intention of this was just to put the original 0.8 acres mapped out, not necessarily the easement part of it, which is no longer there. It's been turned into riparian buffer zone, and streams go through it and everything else. I really appreciate the mayor and the school director coming forward with their approval of this plan going forward. I don't want to rehash old issues about old parks. It's not necessary. We got a good thing going on right here, and we can build from this in the future. So I will be supporting this.
Okay. No one else in the queue. Let's put this on the board. This is the main motion as amended.
Each commissioner record your vote.
And that was to group and approve items 1, 2, and 5. I know Mr. Harrison and Mr. Hyatt had to step out, but that passes 20-0. And then, so Mr. Harris, I'm assuming items 3 and 4 are no longer to consider. Anything else, Mr. Harris?
That's got it,
Okay, thank you, sir. Who is Vice Chair of Committee on Committees? Okay, Mr. Lambert.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We added at the beginning of the night Mr. Don Scruggs to be added to the library board. I believe that is a 3-year term.
Okay, so is there a motion? A motion and a second. Mr. Green?
Yes, sir, thank you. We're talking about a public library, which is to be available to everybody in the county. From the comments made by the person requesting to be on the library board, he wants to limit what can be in that library, whether you like it or not. And I don't think that's the role of the library board members to do that. They are not overseeing every book being published, put into the library. That is not their job. And I'm not sure that he understands the role of the library board members, so I will not be voting to place him on the library board.
Okay, thanks, sir. No one else? Let's put that on the board, please. This is to vote Don Scruggs on the library board.
Mr. Chairman.
Hold on a second.
I punched my button.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see it. Okay, Mr. Hyde.
I wanted to say that I will be abstaining on this, and I expressed my views at an insurance board meeting this last week, in that I think that a lot of things that we're doing are things that could wait until our new commissioners come in. It's almost like we're bringing things to the floor to rush it through when they're eager, ready to take on the job and do what needs to be done. We don't need to do it this way. I know this person. He's a friend of mine. He would be a good person, but I can't accept it this way.
Okay, thank you, sir. Looks like a few more people chose to hop into the queue here. Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would respectfully disagree with my fellow commissioner who made that last comment. Some of us were elected in 2022 for a specific reason. A lot of people want to maintain the center position, and that's a fair point. I can respect that. Unfortunately, over the last few decades, we have slowly matriculated to the left because of the way the left does. They take inches every year. And unless there's a hard push to the right, we're not going to get to center. We're going to keep on matriculating to the left. So I'm okay putting one strong Christian voice on the library board tonight. It will add to some of the other conservatives that we have on that board. I don't think Mr. Scruggs' opinion is going to be the resounding opinion for the whole board all the time. He has some strong views. But I know we've been going the exact opposite of that way for a long time. And I'm okay with putting another strong Christian on that board. So I believe I was elected to do a job, and I think my constituents wanted me to push hard to the right so that we could get back to center. So I'll be voting to support him.
All right, thanks, sir. Mr. Schmidt.
Couple of things with respect to this, Mr. Hyde. I have all the respect in the world for him, and considered myself privileged to serve along him because him and I have always had a respectful dialogue. But one, I was elected to serve 48 months, not 46, not 45. I'm sure some of you've seen what I wrote, and it wasn't directed at anyone. Here's another thing. Last committee on committees, similar situation happened, and I asked the prior, and I'm not bringing this up to pinpoint the prior chairwoman of that, but I think fair is fair. And they didn't meet for 2 months, which is fine. Eventually, one of the members explained what happened, and I'm good with that. This committee on committee chairwoman, I have to take issue with all due respect, has not met in 2 months. We've had an opening for this library board since June. So what's fair is fair. Mr. Scruggs has emailed the commission several months ago. I emailed the chairwoman of Committee on Committees recently with other chairs of other committees with questions from citizens as to why those meetings didn't take place. And again, it's not me trying to, throw any shade at anybody, but citizens approached me and said, why was Committee on Committees canceled? I said, I don't know. I'll try to get you an answer. I have not received an answer. So again, fair is fair. Mr. Scruggs will have my vote tonight because he's come forward more than once to wanting to serve. So I'm sorry, but when you're elected to sit up here and take a stance, whether you leave this room hated or you leave this room appreciated. That's the job we all signed up for. And I know tonight I'll leave here probably hated by some, and that's okay. But I was elected to do a job. I'm here. I'm going to vote on that. Committee on Committees have failed to meet for 2 months with no reply to any of us. So this is why we're here today, and this is why we have Mr. Scruggs, and we're voting on this tonight, because there's been no meeting and no explanation as to why there's no meeting. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. All right, Mr. Harrison.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Did a little research because I wasn't sure if this was going to actually make the agenda or not, and I hate to bring this up, but I went to the candidate's Facebook page, which is public. 2 posts referencing President Lincoln as a tyrant. 2 separate ones. And maybe some agree with that.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
That referenced, well, I'll just read this since it's public. Just unfriended somebody. It's a picture of President Lincoln that supported this terrorist. Referred to him as a terrorist, President Lincoln. And another one that says, on April 4th, 1861, Virginia voted against secession. After Lincoln's call for troops on April 17, 1861, Virginia voted to secede. If the war was really about slavery and not about Lincoln's tyranny, referred to him as a tyrant, Virginia would have seceded the first time around. Now, maybe this is not the things that he continues to espouse, but I can't vote for somebody who would refer to President Lincoln as a tyrant and a terrorist. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. Mr. Teachner.
Yes, sir. I just want to say for the record that that I know my constituents do want someone who will stand up and stand in the gap for Christian values in our county. So I don't know anything about the man's Facebook page. I don't know anything about where anything comes from, and I know that you can dig up things on anybody, and maybe that was said, maybe it wasn't, but all I'll say is that just from what he said tonight, I like the fact that he said he'd stand up for Christian values. And so for the record, I think we need a whole lot more on the library board and all across this county to stand up for Christian values.
All right, come on. Hey, please hold your applause. Y'all know you shouldn't be doing that, okay? All right? We understand. We get it. We get the point. All right, Mr. Schoaf.
My comments are actually pretty similar to Mr. Schmidt's here. I think I have voted for every single person who's been brought to this floor or through committee on committees. And I think I've made pretty much everybody angry at me on this because I do believe in different opinions on the library board, and we have different opinions on the library board. And so I've supported, I think, every single person, provided that they're a citizen in good standing in this, really just two things, right? I mean, we talked all the time about all of these requirements that somebody's allowed. None of that is necessary. You need to be a citizen in good standing and willing to serve on it. And so we have somebody who's been trying to serve on the board. We have not had any meetings for committee on committees for 2 months to consider this person. I took the same stance when it was going kind of the other side of this, and I'm going to be consistent to it. So I'm going to support Mr. Scruggs. And I also just wanted to note that I have no idea what's on somebody's Facebook page, and I have no intention of going to look on somebody's Facebook page or something they said on Twitter or X. And if we are all going to be judged for every little thing that we choose to do, or every thought that we have, as though there's some kind of thought crime out there, people aren't going to put themselves out to do this kind of work. This is not a role that, this isn't a role that's aggrandizes oneself. It's a pain. People don't like you when you take positions on stuff. I've seen stones thrown at library board members on all directions. Anybody who chooses to do this, I'd hope we'd give them a chance as opposed to digging into them like the media.
All right, thanks, sir. Ms. Janon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I wanted to address what our commissioner said about waiting and letting the new commission come in. I would like to say that I don't agree with that because like he said, one of the commissioners said, we were elected for 48 months. And if we just all decided tonight, we're not going to do any work, we're just going to wait for the new commission to come in, and we just go home. But I think that's wrong, because if I did that in my personal and private business and said, oh, I'm going to be retiring in 2 weeks, and I just think that we're not going to do anything, I'm shutting my door and I'm leaving, that would leave a lot of things undone, and I think that's not wise. So I disagree with that, because I think you work as a commissioner till the end. Excuse me. It's the teacher in me, sorry. So I really feel like, in respect to Mr. Scruggs, I don't know Mr. Scruggs. He's an author. We have another author on the library board who made some, I would thought, radical comments about Jesus would think that this was okay or whatever. I've heard things like that. And I'm kind of of the opinion that people say things sometimes out of jest, or they do research and they say things like that. I don't think that's the person's integrity that we're dealing with here. We're dealing with a man who's an author. He has multiple books that he's published. He believes in Jesus, and he believes in what he believes in, but it doesn't mean he's not going to do a good job and give everyone a voice of what they should think. Because it sounds to me Like, if you write a book, you're doing a lot of research, and you're trying to put ideas together to educate people. And I don't believe that every time we bring a library board person up here that has an iota of Christianity in their soul, that we have to kick them down the road. I don't think that's right. I don't know Mr. Lincoln. I know all the history about Mr. Lincoln. He was assassinated by a guy at the theater, and he was part of the Civil War. He was a great president. He was a wonderful president. He's an icon. But I didn't know I don't know if he was a terrorist. Maybe his terrorism thought had something to do with something else, the way he ran the war. I don't know. War is terrible. It is terrible. Maybe that's what he was thinking. I don't know Mr. Scruggs' head. I don't know what's in his head. But I don't think that every time somebody comes up here to be on the library board that we should scorn them. And Mr. Schmidt's correct. We're not having meetings like we're supposed to. We got a lot of, I would say, a lot of crap for not being having our meetings. Some of it was legitimate. I don't know. I can't remember what happened. But when you have a precedent of all these other committees not being done, that shows the people that you're not doing the work. And I don't think Mr. Scruggs should have to be the one to take the heat for that. So I'm going to vote for Mr. Scruggs. I don't know what's in his head. I don't know him, but I'm sure he's a good guy. But I think we need to give the fellow a chance. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Mr. Wright.
My fellow commissioner back there in the back that said that he was going to abstain from this vote, I respect that. That gentleman deserves the ultimate respect from every person in here. As many years as he is dedicated to this county, he deserves that respect. I respect his vote just like he respects mine. As far as Mr. Scruggs is concerned, I grew up with the man. I know him personally. Do we agree on everything? No, we don't. But I'll be voting for him to be on the library board. We have, not just in this county, but in this country, and we've all seen it, we have a problem of not, I call it right and wrong. People say, well, all kind of books need to be in the library. What's wrong with, if you're not willing to take a book through the front doors of a church, then it shouldn't be in the library. What are we teaching our kids, folks? Are we teaching them right from wrong? What are we teaching them? Do you know who is having to deal with these kids when they grow up? When you do not teach them right from wrong? Law enforcement. Because guess where they end up? They don't end up in your colleges. They don't end up in your trade schools. They end up in your correctional facilities. I'll be voting for Mr. Scruggs. Commissioner, you have my utmost respect, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Mansfield.
Yeah, I just wanted to, I guess, push back a little bit on the comments made about, I guess, Mr. Scruggs and his opinion on the Civil War and Lincoln. I mean, there's a lot of people who share the same opinion, historians do, you know, liberty-loving people, so I'm not here to debate that, but I will note it is ironic that this same commission, a majority voted to put somebody on our current library board who believes, and this is a quote, that Jesus would approve of transgender books for children. And I'm just here to say that Jesus would not approve of transgender books for children. Jesus said, specifically, anybody who leads my children to go astray, it's better you have a millstone tied around your neck and drowned in the bottom of the sea. And that's what Jesus said. And Romans 1 is very emphatically a counter to anybody saying that Jesus would approve of transgender books in a library. So I do appreciate Mr. Scruggs' his history background, his passion, whether you agree with his stance on things like Lincoln, but his Christian perspective as a Judeo-Christian nation founded on Christian principles, and we were. And regardless of whether you can say we're a Christian nation anymore, but I do appreciate his viewpoint and stance, stemming the tide of a duty we have as public servants, as well as community standards, or what are our standards as a community. And growing up and born and raised here in Sumner County in Hendersonville, going through Lakeside Park Elementary and Hawkins Middle School and Hendersonville High School, and my mom drove a school bus for 33 years in this county. That doesn't represent my values that I grew up with, going to Bluegrass Baptist Church right there on Indian Lake Boulevard, on that peninsula. And so I appreciate Mr. Scruggs. I feel like he would be a voice that would be an opposing voice to some voices on the library board that I don't agree with. I didn't vote for it, but this body voted for some pretty extreme positions, I would say. But yet they're on the library board. So I would appreciate, I'm going to vote for Mr. Scruggs because I think it would be interesting and good to have his voice to push back on some of the narrative that's being promulgated from our library board. So I'll be supporting him.
All right. No one else in the queue. Let's put that on the board.
Each commissioner records your vote.
All right, that passes 15-5. Moving on, Legislative Committee, Mr. Harris.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before I present the report on item 2, did we assign a resolution number?
We did not. I thought about that afterwards. We'll do it 2608-14. Does that make sense? Okay. That would be -14.
Thank you, sir. All right. Item 1, changing the opioid committee to a standalone committee. I so move.
Motion second. Mr. Mansfield.
Yes, this I serve as vice chairman of the opioid committee, and when this came out of committee, there was actually 5 commissioners versus 3, and it got changed in legislative. I'm going to make an amendment to change it back to 5 commissioners. I made this argument at at the opioid abatement committee. I believe that there should be more commissioners than citizens on this, since we are dealing with money and fiduciary responsibility. Commissioners are elected. Volunteers, citizens are not. I think there should be more of a balance between county commissioners in charge of those funds and those decisions than there are citizens. So my motion is increase it from 3 commissioners to 5 commissioners.
Okay. Yeah, yes, let's make sure. So right now, the resolution has, as written, has 3 commissioners. Help me out. The other makeup. What's the?
1 member of the medical community.
1 member of medical.
And a member that has successfully completed the Sumner County Drug Court.
One member who successfully completed the Sumner County Recovery Drug Court.
County mayor.
And
1 member of the Sumner County Sheriff's Department.
And 1 representative from the Sheriff's Department. So right now, there's 3 commissioners, 1 medical, 1 recovery. Can you read my writing? County mayor, and then 1 from the sheriff. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And so Mr. Mansfield's amendment here is make it 5 commissioners for a total of 9. Mr. Mansfield, 9 total. Okay. So that's the amendment, and it was properly seconded. Mr. Teacher, on this amendment.
I just wanted to say I agree with the commission involvement and the community involvement. I think I had no idea until I was asked to be on this committee how impactful it was, and I really do believe that there's a lot of good work being done in the county, and I didn't even know about this before. I was ignorant to it, And I really highly recommend that the commissioners who come after me, will be very supportive and serve on this, because I think it's just wonderful, and I hope it never goes away.
All right, thank you, sir. Mr. Jones on this amendment?
Yes, I serve on the opioid abatement committee, and I will just say it is a lot of work. There's a lot of information, and we struggle sometimes to get quorum. I mean, it's hard, so I hope that this will help us to get quorum, having more people available to call. So I don't think there's any ill intentions there, and I will support that.
Thank you. Ms. Janone?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am the chairman of the Opioid Abatement Committee, and I want to say how successful we have been with our committee. We are recognized as the best in Middle Tennessee. We are the role model for Tennessee in Middle Tennessee. And we've had our 5 commissioners, and the mayor comes. The sheriff was coming. He stopped coming. He decided to fall off. And then we have 2 community members who are actually experienced in the recovery programs. So it's worked out really, really well. I'm not sure why it was cut back to 3. I honestly don't know that. I feel like the funds that we give out for the opioid program are funds that have been given by the state through the federal, the court cases. And I feel that we as a body of commissioners need to have a handle on that money, because there's a lot of rules and regulations surrounding the appropriation of those funds to different groups. And it is very helpful to have the elected officials there, because we are looking over all of the information carefully. We have a great, wonderful grant manager, Dustin Owens, who has helped us through this, and through our UT consultants. And so by cutting it back, I think you are cutting back the knowledge that some people have. I don't know a lot of the new commissioners coming in. I really don't. And I hope that they will consider being on the committee. But I would like to keep it the way it was. I know several commissioners were on and they had to drop out for different reasons, personal reasons, things like that. And we really appreciated the work that they had done, but we were able to bring new people on, and it's been a collaborative effort. We have a crisis in our county and in our country with narcotic overdoses and things like that. So I would love for you all to just keep it the way it has been and consider doing that and not cut back the way it was. Also, as far as a medical person, I'm available after the end of the month, and I would be glad to consider staying on there as your medical person, since I've been involved, until other things come forward later on down the year. But I just want you to know I'm so proud of this program and the committee, the support. The mayor has been very supportive of us. So I'm just ecstatic about it, sir. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Mr. Klein on this amendment?
I agree with it. I want to concur. I am on the opioid abatement committee as well. It's maybe the toughest committee I've been on. It's a lot of work, but we're doing a lot of really good work. Dustin Owens is doing a fantastic job guiding us, and it's a lot of money that's being dispersed and divided between the groups that come to us, and I would like to see it stay the same. I think 9, we do sometimes struggle for quorum, but it's doing a tremendous amount of work, and we need everybody on there. So I'm in favor of the 9.
Thank you. And I accidentally clicked a button. Yeah, Mr. Ream.
Yes, just a clarification question, and then I may have an amendment. It says the sheriff is on the member of the board, right? Is that correct?
It's a sheriff or delegate, yeah.
Sheriff or?
One of his.
Or designee. Okay, that's why I wanted to clarify. Thank you.
Mr. Teachner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
On this amendment?
Yes. Okay. I made one mistake on my previous statement, and it does pertain to this amendment. I actually I said I hope it never goes away, and that's not true. I actually hope it reduces to where we don't need one anymore because of good reasons. But on that statement, I do want to make an amendment to that amendment, and it says opioid settlement committee, and I think it should go back to abatement, because abatement means the act of reducing, lessening, or ending something. It often refers to decreasing a problem, and so, basically abate means to grow less or stop. So if it's okay with the maker of the motion, the amendment, I don't mind tagging it on there, but I just believe it should, I don't know if it needs to be tagged on, y'all can decide, but I just think it should be.
The law director
abatement.
said that with this, the committee's purpose of distributing the funds at the settlement would sort of makes sense from a definition standpoint.
So you're saying the law director doesn't agree with me again? Just kidding, joking.
The definition.
That would be correct.
All right. Was there an amendment though? Were you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you make your amendment to the amendment.
I want it to be called opioid.
Abatement. Okay. All right. Okay. There's a second there. On this amendment, instead of the opioid settlement committee, this amendment to the amendment is the opioid abatement committee. In my mind, this has nothing to do with the First Amendment. So I'm gonna hold off on that. And once we finish this amendment, then we'll come back and serve that, because it's not really related. Okay. All right. So that amendment is not on quite yet, if that's what you want to talk to. Okay. So right now, the amendment that we're entertaining is moving from 3 commissioners to 5. Mr. Jones, do you want to speak to that again? Okay.
The maker of the motion, I was just wondering how it got taken down to 3. If there's some explanation there. If we're going to vote on keeping it at 5, I want to understand the reasons why it was taken down to 3 and hear arguments for taking it down to 3. I just don't understand why it was changed. So if we could have that, please.
Mr. Rogers in the queue.
Mr. Chairman, I was the maker of the motion in legislative.
Yes, sir.
I thought we would go to smaller governance. So that was my point of bringing it down to 3. And even my ignorance in the committee, I didn't realize that the mayor had a voting spot. So I thought he was ex officio sitting on the committee. But that's why we brought it back down.
Okay.
5 to 3.
Thank you, sir. So that's the answer to your question.
Yeah, I mean, I want to speak to that now, then that I know. I think the intent of smaller government, I appreciate that if, that was the goal, but this isn't costing the taxpayers any more money. I think it helps to do the amount of work that it is. So I appreciate him wanting to go that direction, but I hope everybody sees the intent of the maker of the amendments motion is to do the work and try to get the quorum and keep it to what it is. I don't think it's going to save anybody money, and I think the good that can come out of it by keeping it the way it is outweighs that intent.
Okay. Ms. Boyd.
So I wasn't going to speak, but since Mr. Jones would like the opposite side of this argument or debate, I was on the opiate for many years, from the very beginning. I went to the state round meeting that we had, and some of the other counties were surprised that we even had commissioners on our opiate board. They didn't even have commissioners on it. And some of their reasons, and I would agree with them, and I would promote for a smaller group of commissioners, was to keep the money away from the politicians. Now, that's a thing that we all look at. But also, for me, what I saw was that we could get more in-depth involvement from the community in these areas with recovery and drug use and hospitals employees, ambulance employees, and stuff of that nature. Because we as a commission, if you just look at our body right now, I know we're going to flip about half of us over, but we don't have that experience. When we joined the opiate board, we didn't have that. We didn't come in with that background. Whereas if we could take a board and staff it with those people that serve that community, we'd be off and running and provide a better service, I would argue. And I'm only bringing that up because you wanted to know what the other side of that would be. So I will be voting against this amendment because I think 3 commissioners is more than enough if we can staff this committee with more of the people that know what's going on in that field.
Thank you, Ms. Boyd. Mr. Mansfield.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify that Sumner County Opioid Abatement Committee and Program is pretty recognized statewide as the best in the state as a model based on membership makeup, involvement, what they've done. Obviously, Mr. Owens' hard work, Commissioner Jung's hard work chairing the committee, and the members that have been on it. But we have been recognized as the best in the state as in a model county for what we've done on the Opioid Abatement Committee throughout the state. So I wouldn't necessarily look at what any other county says when the state's saying we're doing the best job as a county. I disagree with saying you're growing government by putting more commissioners on there. The intent is we have a representative form of government. You don't put unelected bureaucrats on a board who are making fiduciary decisions that's outside of the direct control of the electorate. And that's what more commissioners on there gives power to we the people as representation. If you put people who aren't elected on there, the citizens lose their voice, in my opinion. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. A question for Ms. Browning. Can this opioid abatement committee spend money? Because this came up in legislative. Can they choose to spend money on without the budget committee, without it going back up through budget? Ms. Browning?
If they are as a standalone committee,
Yes, ma'am.
yes, they could. It would go straight here.
Okay, you're right. So it would go straight to the full commission for us to approve.
Mhm.
So, okay. So they can't spend the money without full commission approval?
No.
Okay, so that's, okay, all right, thank you. Mr. Nguyen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm on the fence really with this one. I know we've heard in previous discussions on boards and membership makeups that in reducing numbers that, the reason why we need more is so that we can make quorum, and the argument was we just need better quality people to serve. So I don't put a lot of weight into that argument for this specific topic, is that, well, we have a problem making quorum, so we need to keep the number the same. Because for years we've heard about how that shouldn't even be considered. You should have a better quality person serving. So I'll put that out there. And then also, too, it's just with having more commissioners on a board like this. I'll go back to our library board, who has fiduciary responsibility and oversees budgets. And there's only one commissioner on there, but we don't see any push to add additional commissioners there. So I am confused on why this specific board would require so many commissioners as opposed to citizens. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you. Mr. Brown?
Short and sweet. If we're the best in the state, why fix it if it ain't broken? Thank you.
All right, thanks, sir. Mr. Shove?
I really didn't want to get in queue, but I just had to comment on a difference between what Mr. Nguyen said. The difference between the library board is that the library board, their budgets and any amendments to those budgets roll up into budget committee, whereas we have just heard that the opioid abatement committee or the opioid settlement committee, thank you, depending on how it gets named, will not do that. Once we make it a standalone committee, it will roll direct up here, so it is functionally different. I just wanted to make that correction.
All right, no one else is in the queue. Let's put this on the board. So this is the Mr. Mansfield's amendment to instead of 3 commissioners, it would be 5 commissioners. The others stay the same for a total of 9 instead of 7. 13 yes votes are needed.
Each commissioner records your vote.
All right, that amendment passes. Mr. Teachner? Let me put Mr. Teachner.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I make an amendment that we change the name officially to Opioid Abatement Committee instead of Opioid
Motion
Settlement.
second.
And because I want the focus to be on saving lives, not spending money.
All right. No one in the queue. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Show that is unanimous. So now we're back to the main motion as amended. No one in the queue. Let's put that on the board. This is the main motion.
Each commissioner records your vote.
Okay. So that passes unanimously. Mr. Harrison. Yeah, just from a restroom break, a 5 minute. Let's do a 5 minute. Yeah, yeah. Are we back running? Is it? I know, yeah. But the live feed's back up? No. Oh. Hey, those are out in the lobby. Either rejoin us or close the doors. Yeah. Let's go. All right, we're moving on. Mr. Harrison.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Hey,
Before I
hold
go
one
on,
second. Can you all close those? Yeah, close both those doors, please. All right. Mr. Harrison.
before I present item 2, I just want to notify the clerk, I was out of the room when you took the vote on the quitclaim deed. I would like to record my vote as yes.
Okay, yes, you and Mr. Hyde were both out of the room, so.
Yes. All right.
Okay.
Item 2 that was added to the agenda, we gave it the number 2608-14 in support of the private act for term limits.
Motion in a second. Okay, Mr. Mansfield.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is the 14th month in a row that I've brought this forward. I just want to remind this county commission of this process again. Should this get miraculously 16 votes tonight, it would go to the state legislature. Should it pass the state legislature, it would come back to the county commission next spring. The county commission would have to pass it with 16 votes again. And then what would happen then is this would actually go to the ballot, a referendum for citizens, I guess for 2028 would be the next general election at this point, should that happen. So this is not a quick process. This is a very lengthy process. And I just want to remind this body and citizens that 90% of Hendersonville voters voted to send via referendum term limits, and 90% of Hendersonville voters voted for this. 80% of Gallatin voters voted for term limits. And so this is something that's very popular with Sumner County citizens. It is not a partisan issue. It's a nonpartisan issue across the spectrum. Almost 90% of Americans across the board agree for term limits at all levels of government. And so I'm just asking for support. I know we need 16 votes, and unfortunately we are missing members out of this chamber who have disappeared. But I would hope that we can have 16 votes to send it to the state legislature and then give the citizens a voice to see if the citizens want to have this or not. So
Okay.
I appreciate the support of this. Thank you.
All right, no one else in queue. Let's put this on the board.
Each commissioner record your vote.
Okay, that fails to get the 16 votes that required. Mr. Harrison.
That's it, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you, sir. Mr. Schoaf.
Okay, so I'm going to make a brief comment, and then we'll move on with it. I was not at the Budget Committee, and so I'm actually going to hand this off in a second to the Vice Chair, because he'll know it better than me, but I did want to just comment that I've served for 4 years on the Budget Committee, and I've learned a ton from each and every one of you, and I just appreciate it, and I've had a good time over this. Not always a good time, but I've learned a lot over this last 4 years. So I might hand it off to my Vice Chair because I was not there.
All right, Mr. Lambert.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item number 2608-10, authorizing the transfer of $25,000 for the Highway Department tipping fees, and I so move.
Second.
Motion and a second. Mr. Harrison. No, there's a motion on the table for just this one item. Mr. Harrison.
Mr. Chairman, I was just going to make an amendment to group and approve 1, 3, and 4.
Okay, so there's an amendment to group and approve 1, 3, and 4. Is there a second? There's a second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? You want to speak to this amendment? Oh, okay, on the group, to group. Okay. Well, no, this is, okay, that's a fair point. Yeah, so this is,
2, 3, and 4, I don't care. We can group and approve.
yeah, but this amendment is just to then consider to group and approve. So this wouldn't group and approve. Yeah, yeah, I know. Okay, well, he withdraws it. We're back to just the one first item. Mr. Rogers, would you like to speak to this first item only? Yes, sir. All right, go ahead.
So I was questioning, where did this tipping fee come from? Is this something we've always done with the highway department, or is it something new?
I will defer to Mr. Lambert or Mr. Schoaf or the county mayor.
Funny enough,
County mayor.
we had this come up in committee, and Ms. Browning and Mr. Mayor could probably give a much better background than I could,
Yeah.
and much more entertaining.
Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, so we used to make a contribution of $100,000 to the Resource Authority. This commission stopped that contribution, and in turn, they started charging us tipping fees. So this is a budgeted amount for the tipping fees for Highway Department.
Okay.
So we have 25,000 here.
Well, put him back on. Go ahead.
Thank you. We have $25,000 here. How much is in county general for tipping fees? Do we know that?
I don't.
This
Go ahead.
is first year, so we don't have an average to go by.
Can we ask the finance director how much we're paying in tipping fees a year in general and school board? If this is something new?
This is the first year.
Yeah.
Yeah, this sounds like
We don't
this is
have
the
any
first.
historical
This is the
background.
first payment.
Well, I understand that, Mr. Chairman, and respectfully, this is just for the highway department tipping fee of $25,000. I was wondering how much is in county general and how much is in the school board for tipping fee. According to the mayor's comment, that this is the first time this has ever happened. So I'm just wondering, based on the mayor's comment that this commission has started this, I'm confused of how much this commission has actually cost in taxpayers' dollars, since this is the first time we've charged tipping fees.
Mr. Mayor, can you speak to that?
Better handle on that. There is money allocated in county general for tipping fees, and then the Board of Education will also have to assume tipping fees. But the actual amounts, unfortunately, we won't know for a year. Then we can go back and review that and see if it was worth it.
I guess
Can you put him on?
so my question is how much have we budgeted? I understand that we haven't spent, and this is the first year that we've done that. What is our budget?
All right, Mr. Schoaf or Ms. Browning, do y'all know what the budgeted line items are for tipping fees? Ms. Browning is shaking her head yes. So can you put her mic on, please? Okay.
So there was 25,000 budgeted in the highway department and in county general.
And do we know about the schools, how much they budgeted? Because that's probably a lot of trash.
I don't know.
We don't know the schools.
So so this commission could have costed somewhere up in $250,000 for tipping fees?
I don't know.
Gotcha. Thanks.
All right. Mr. Harrison.
Just a quick question. The commission has 3 representatives on the Resource Authority. I was just curious if they would like to weigh in as to the discussions maybe in the Resource Authority meetings as to how this came about, and if there's anything that we could do proactively in the future to maybe, for better lack of a phrase, strike a deal with them like we had previously.
Yeah, I will allow if any members of the resource, are you, I don't know the members. Are you a member, Mr. Klein? Well, let me come back to you. Is anyone, Mr. Nung, are you on that committee? Okay. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, I think what happened was the contract expired with the county and the Resource Authority. There was a issue there, but then it was $100,000 a year that the county paid to the Resource Authority. And what was happening is you had some departments using the Resource Authority but not using the money. You know, they were being charged over here, and then you had somebody else taking trash out there, and they would charge. It was no consistency. So your $100,000 was actually way more than you should have been spending. So that's where that fell off, and it actually was, it makes like the highway department accountable for their trash, and then it would be the county is accountable for their trash and school boards. So there was all these balls in the air for the Resource Authority, and that's where it fell off. That's how I recollected it, but
Okay.
it's a savings to the county in a way, so.
Okay, so we're back on the main motion. Mr. Klein, would you like to speak?
I just want to concur with Ms. Janung. I talked to David Lawing about this way back because it seemed like, you know, we were contributing $100,000. I said, are we even getting close to that when with our trash bills for the year? And he said, not even close. And that was what brought up the whole discussion about getting rid of the $100,000 contribution and just paying tipping fees. We won't know for sure, but at that time, his discussion with me was $100,000 is way more than we'll ever spend on trash. So that's where it came from.
All right, thank you, sir. Mr. Harrison?
Yes, sir. And I'm just asking because as I just want to kind of get my mind wrapped around this. Was that $100,000 covering highway and Board of Education both, or was that just county? And I'm asking just for general knowledge.
I don't know. Ms. Browning, do you know the answer to that? Mr. Mayor said it did cover all of it.
Yeah, there was, but.
Can you turn on her mic, Mr. Jones? Oh, okay, I can't see.
And what happened was, yeah, it covered everybody, but everybody was doing other things everybody was doing their own things, right? So you're paying $100,000 for everybody to use it, but they were billing, there was other billing. This is the way I remember it. There was separate stuff, so it was like all confusing. So I don't recall the school board being a part of that, though. I thought it was separate because it was just the county, you know, as a whole, but not the school board because they had their own gig. I think that we did ask them that over there, and they said it was separate. But it's been a while. You know, I slept a couple nights.
Okay. Well, the mayor did comment that the $100,000 did include the school board's portion. Okay. All right. No one else is in the queue.
Sorry about that, Mr. Chairman.
No, that's fair. Let's put this on the board. So this is 2608-10. Mr. Teacher?
Yes, sir. Just one quick question. Point of information or clarification, one of the two. Are they recording the meetings out there yet? They are? Good, so that's straightened out. There's no camera? Oh, well, okay, thank you.
All right. Okay. Mr. Jones, you now have something?
I was just going to add something to the comment, and this is just quick. For what it's worth, ChatGPT search, and it says, yes, the county was paying $100,000 annual flat fee, but individual county departments weren't being billed according to their actual tonnage under that agreement. So I guess that's why it was split up to actually find out what each county was spending. And so that probably needs to be compared sometime to see if it's cheaper or not, but it does say it was cheaper to go away from the $100,000 flat payment, so.
Okay. All right. No one else in the queue. Let's put this on the board.
Each commissioner records your vote.
All right. Mr. Lamberth.
Resolution 2608-11 appropriates $60,000 for a technology package for courtroom 5C, which is the courtroom build out. This is, from my understanding, part of it was left off of the original scope. That's correct. And this is to bring it up to where it was supposed to be.
Okay. Is that a motion?
It is not.
I so move.
Okay. Motion and a second. No one in the queue. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Okay, let's put that on the board.
Each commissioner records your vote.
Okay, that passes 17-4. Mr. Lambert.
I'd like to make a motion to group and approve
Second.
2608-12 and 13. 12 is a grant approval for the ECC to apply for a radio equipment grant, and item number 13 is to approve a multi-year agreement with fire and security.
All right, there's a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Show that is unanimous. Mr. Lambert.
And that is the conclusion of my report, Mr. Chairman.
All right, moving along.
I was out of the room on the opioid.
Can you get Mr. Hyde's microphone?
I was out of the room on the opioid vote, and I want to record my vote as a yes on the
Okay.
quit claim.
So Mr. Hyde was also
Not
out of the room.
opioid, on the quit claim.
It is on the opioid, he votes yes, so that made that 22-0. Okay, we are now at the recognition of the public for non-agenda items, and we do have, and I don't know if this was just precautionary, Mr. Scruggs, do you have a different topic that wasn't on the agenda? All right. All right. Ms. Bager, different topic? Nope. Ms. Janong? Okay. Just to remind everyone, the topics right here are limited to 3 minutes. It has to be something that the county commission, that it pertains to the county commission and what we are responsible for. Well, if it won't be, I won't be allowed to let you speak. As long as it's county commission business, okay. I thought you said it wasn't. Is it? Can you hit her? Yeah, don't. Here, let me see if I.
Okay. So.
You got 3 minutes.
I'll do it. So last year, all of you stood up and took an oath. And I won't be here next month, but I wanted to bring to your attention, suicide prevention is next month. And all of you in the room here took an oath last year to be a witness to people that may be struggling with some depression or just thoughts that they may want to end their life. And I just want to remind you that September 8th is the actual day, but 988 is the code that you put in if you are suicidal or you feel you know someone that's wanting to end their life. And we talked about the opioid abatement program tonight. And one of the things that happens when someone is on drugs or having struggles, they will sometimes commit suicide because they see no hope and they feel very hopeless. And it's our job to look for that and look for our friend or our person that sits next to us. Hey, you're different. Are you okay? And we need to ask each other that question. One of the things I wanted to tell you is signs to watch for, and that would be talking about wanting to die. Some people will say, I just want to die. I don't want to go on anymore. I'd rather just die if I had to go through this. If you hear that, that's an alarm. I feel hopeless, or I'm being a burden on myself, my family, and I feel like I'm a burden to others. And that is sometimes their only way out is to take their life. Withdrawing from friends, family, and activities. Some of us, we want to stick to ourselves and stay in our house and hide. And then we get very isolated, and that causes depression. And at that time, people find no way, and they don't have anybody to talk to. You need to check on your neighbor and know that that is a sign of someone who may be wanting to commit suicide. Sudden mood swings. I'm real happy. All of a sudden, everything's great. I'm really happy with you. I want to give you my shoes and my favorite dress and all of my makeup, and I just think it would be really great for you to have it. Well, that's a sign. That means you're planning something. Okay. Increased use of alcohol, drugs. I just want to ask you all, after I'm gone, because that's what I do as mental health, is please be a steward for that. And as you go forward, make sure that you look for your own families and your own friends, and that you will be a steward for the suicide prevention. Just remember 988, or you can call 911, but 988 is the number you call for suicide if you're going to be suicidal. Did I make my time?
There you go. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Mr. Baker, this is a non-agenda item.
Kevin Bagert, 424 AB Wade Road. This is going to turn the world upside down, I think, when I make these statements. But I heard tonight somebody talk about how Lincoln was such a great president and was going to use that against your approval of somebody for our library board. Obviously, it's a good thing also that we...
The library board was on the agenda.
As well as the next... It's a good thing we're going to teach history.
Not on the agenda.
Latimer House is on the agenda, right? Oh, it's not. Oh, not on the agenda. Yeah. Oh, this makes it even better. So, the fact is, the Emancipation Proclamation did not free any of the slaves held in Union-controlled territories, including Tennessee. Thank you very much.
All right. Had nothing to do with the county commission business. Thought you were better than that, Mr. Baker. All right. That concludes recognition of the public. Any district events or announcements? Ms. Miller.
I just wanted to thank the Bagerts for bringing us refreshments tonight. That was very appreciated, and we thank you very much.
Mr. Teachner.
I just want to thank the voters who allowed us. I speak on behalf of everybody who's going out and everyone who's staying. Thank you, voters, for allowing us a chance to represent you. Hope we did it well. Love y'all.
All right. No one else in the queue? It's a motion to adjourn?